Vince Brown.
Overtime. BiggsRadio.com.
Vince Brown in the morning.
The community's choice.
This is the Biggs Radio Network.
15 past the hour on Vince Brown in the morning. Get at us on the Biggs Radio line, talk or text 773-462-4447 at 773-462-4447. Not sure if you saw this in the news the other day, but Carnegie Hall debuted its first all-black classical symphony orchestra in venue history. The Gateways Musical Festival Orchestra made its debut back in April, and it's showcasing a number of works, among them a commission featuring John Batiste, who's the music director of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, who, by the way, earlier this week reclaimed the stage area in the Ed Sullivan Theater. Now, Batiste's works shares the program with stuff by Brahms and a Sinfonia and a work by George Walker, the first African-American laureate of the Pulitzer Prize for Music, whose centennial will fall next year. Now, the debut concert back in April also featured Fantasia, that's James Cockerham's Fantasia on Lift Every Voice and Sing, and it's a signature piece for this ensemble, whose distinguished members hail from the foremost orchestras and conservatory teaching faculties nationwide. Wow. See what I was talking about first on yesterday's Vince's Vents? This is the reason why. There are areas of this country that we're still trying to get into. Some I'm just scratching my head. Why do we even want to go in there? If they don't want us, they don't want us. We go somewhere else and do our thing. But you know, there are those that soldier on, and their perseverance is rewarded. Case in point, this orchestra here. First all-black orchestra to perform at Carnegie Hall. Hey, I like that first. Let's continue to make first. You know, kind of makes it for critical race theory not being in the schools. But hey, we'll take every win we can get, you know? Vince Brown in the morning. Check your watches. 18 past the hour.
Vince Brown in the morning.
Unique by nature.
This is the Biggs Radio Network.
Vince Brown.
BiggsRadio.com. Online and on your mobile device.
Vince Brown in the morning. This is the Biggs Radio Network.
30 past the hour on Vince Brown in the morning. Get at us on the Biggs Radio line. Talk or text 773-462-4447. That's 773-462-4447. Remember, you can listen to this fine program Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. Central Time on the flagship BiggsRadio.com. For those of you out east, catch it on our Philadelphia affiliate, Soul Radio 51 Philly.com. That's at 7 a.m. Coming up later tonight, we run back another great edition of Live from New York. The hip-hop ambassador Dynamax Roberts had a chance to finally commune with him one more time as we had our Black Music Month seminar this past weekend. He was so happy to see L.A. Sky, he could almost dance a jig. Him and George Kerr. Matter of fact, George Kerr did some stuff with his stepdad, Larry Roberts. with one of the most famous groups on the R&B tip, The Moments. Most of us know him today as Ray Goodman and Brown, or as Dr. Al Greer colloquially says, and Brown, because that was the only remaining original member of the crew. So check it tonight. We run back live from New York tonight at 6 p.m. Speaking of reminiscing, earlier this week I was going through some interesting notes on the sports side, because, I read the sports pages like that. And it just so happens that 2021, and in particular this week, marks the 30th anniversary of the first NBA World Championship for the Chicago Bulls. The date was actually June 12th. And I had a chance to see the end of that fifth game where the Bulls won against the Lakers at the old Great Western Forum that they've now rebuilt. And all the celebrations thereafter. And I can remember distinctly the night that my beloved Bulls clinched the title. I was in doing college radio. Matter of fact, I was in the station listening to the late Jim Durham call those last seconds as the Bulls won, and like simultaneously on Michigan Avenue in downtown Chicago, you just heard this swell of car horns all up and down Grant Park. I'm like, whoa, news gets around fast. Rush Street was up for grabs. Division Street was up for grabs. It was just a celebration and a sigh of, yes, they finally did it. Because, see, the 2 years prior, the Detroit Pistons had the Bulls' number. I mean, this was when this was the normal-haired Dennis Rodman was just a beast with it on the boards. And Bill Lame Beard, mercy. When they say they were the bad boys, best believe that's exactly who they were. But we pushed through, swept the Pistons. We swept the Pistons so bad in 1991, they didn't even shake our hand. Come to think of it, isn't that what LeBron did this year when the Suns beat him in that game, that last game? He did it 2 games in a row. I'm like, come on, LeBron, really? You can't be the king forever. But that day and that whole week in 1991, y'all couldn't tell nobody in Chicago nothing. We was just, yeah, buddy. We the pimps now, bruh. And we had to go. Man, what a difference 30 years makes these days. Oh, man. Speaking of your first, or in this case, first black everything, we'll look at another first and bring in our social media question of the day. Back to more news, views, great music. Hold what you got. Vince Brown in the morning. Check your watches. 25 before the hour.
Vince Brown in the morning.
Tested daily for your protection.
This is the Bigs Radio Network.
Vince Brown.
Overtime. BigsRadio.com.
It's who we are.
Vince Brown in the morning. This is the Bigs Radio Network.
15 before the hour on Vince Brown in the morning. Get at us on the Bigs Radio line, talk or text 773-462-4447. That's 773-462-4447. Back doing those first black things again. This time, we hit the ice. a good friend Bill Douglas over at NHL.com lets us know that the National Women's Hockey League has just inaugurated its first black head coach. Mark Joslin named Toronto's head coach on this past June 7th. The 57-year-old native of Richmond Hill, Ontario, replaces Digit Murphy, who coached Toronto in its inaugural season and now moves up to the president's position. Now, Joslin himself has worked in hockey for more than 20 years, most recently with Toronto of the Ontario League. He was the team's general manager for the first two seasons before adding coaching responsibilities. He also coached in that same Ontario League, Aurora and North York, and was a scout for Oshawa and Barrie of the Ontario Major League, and coached also in the Greater Toronto Hockey League. Again, black first in an arena that you normally don't see black folk in this case, hockey. This might be a start, folks. I mean, the NHL this year just got its first black play-by-play guy of a single team. Now they get their first black head coach. You know there's going to be some brothers from Ontario going to be on that team. I'm just saying. But it's not like we don't know how to play this game. For those of you who do follow the sport, and I know there's some of you out there that do, if you do your history, you'll know that the all-black hockey leagues predate the National Hockey League by some 30-plus years. Matter of fact, around 1890, the Colored Hockey League of the Maritimes was the first, I guess you could say, professional league in Canada. These were slaves that I don't want to call it migrated. They escaped the United States. And now they just needed something to do up in the cold. Put on some skates, grab a hockey stick, and they did the doggone thing. Now, the Maritimes, you say? Yeah, that's Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, all up in that neck of the woods. They call those the Maritimes. They were the NHL before the NHL. Goalies coming out of the crease playing a puck, Colored Hockey League. Slap shots, Colored Hockey League. Speedy forwards, Colored Hockey League. We did that first. They're just starting to pick up on it. Well, they've been at it now almost 100 years, so what the heck. But remember where it jumped off first, in the Colored Hockey League. So, time to ask the interesting question. Are you tired of black first, or does it give you pride? Seriously. Because there's some folk among us who are like, why are we so busy still doing first black this, first black that? We still got some areas that folk don't want us in. I'm going to keep harping on that. And every time there's a first black something, trust me, I'm going to put it out in Front Street. Because apparently they didn't want us there in the first place, so guess what? The first black such and such, y'all gonna get some love from Vince Brown in the morning. Believe that. Again, our question today. Are you tired of black first, or do they give you pride? Respond to us right now through our Facebook fan page, BiggsRadio.com. Or you can talk or text your response to 773-462-4447. That's 773-462-4447. We would love to hear from you. Folks, that'll do it for this hour on Vince Brown in the Morning. If this is your last stop, we appreciate you kicking it with us today. Let's do it tomorrow, 6 a.m. Central Time, 7 a.m. Eastern Time. For those of you continuing on, please, oh please, listen in. We got our Black Music Month moment coming up at the bottom of the next hour. Again, it's another surprise, so just be listening in. It's Vince Brown in the Morning, presented by Bank of America. Make quick and easy deposits at a Bank of America ATM near you. Check your watches. We're at 9 before the hour.
This is the Bigs Radio Network.
Vince Brown.
Overtime.
BigsRadio.com.
Vince Brown in the Morning.
It's all about you.
This is the Bigs Radio Network.
15 past the hour on Vince Brown in the Morning. Get at us on the Bigs Radio line. Talk or text 773-462-4447. That's 773-462-4447. You know how, for some of us that are a little bit, as they say, long in the tooth, remember those old sitcoms where almost everybody done died off and whatnots, and the only folk left is the help? Well, strangely enough, there are 2 birthdays this week that have just passed where the help is still here from those shows. We just recently celebrated the 90th birthday of Image Award-winning actress Marla Gibbs. She is the last surviving original cast member of The Jeffersons. Yeah, she played Florence Johnston, the help, as the longtime maid of The Jeffersons, who were spun off themselves from All in the Family. Now, what most of you may not know is that Marla is originally from Chicago and went to the same high school as Nat King Cole. That would be Wendell Phillips Academy. Yep. Marla got that something on the head. And as a matter of fact, if you saw the live reboot about, I think, a couple of years ago of The Jeffersons, you'll find out why the Jeffersons were made the way they were. It was all because of Marla. She wasn't going to let them try to play black folk like that were up and, they got a little money. Marla's like, no, y'all ain't going to do us like that. Shouts out to Marla on that. And then I believe about maybe a day or 2 ago, remember the guy that was the handyman in Good Times? He's still here, too. I speak of actor Johnny Brown, who played Building Superintendent Nathan Bookman on that show, Good Times. But he was a part of the show up through its cancellation in 1979. He's also played similar roles on The Jeffersons, Family Matters, Sister, The Jamie Foxx Show, Martin, and the Wayans Brothers. He was even considered to play the role of Lamont on Sanford and Son. However, at the time that he was being considered, he was on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. So, of course, the role wound up being with Damon Wilson. Johnny Brown retired from acting and entertainment in 2013. That was after some 52 years. Not bad for a kid from St. Petersburg, Florida, eh? So shouts out to the help for still being here, Marla Gibbs and Johnny Brown. Vince Brown in the Morning. Stay tuned. Our Black Music Month moment is on the way. It is 19 past the hour.
Vince Brown in the morning.
Saluting our healthcare professionals. Thank you.
This is the Bigs Radio Network.
Vince Brown.
Overtime.
BigsRadio.com.
Vince Brown in the morning.
Because music matters.
This is the Bigs Radio Network.
30 past the hour on Vince Brown in the morning. Get at us on the Bigs Radio line. Talk or text 773-462-4447. That's 773-462-4447. Remember, you can listen to this fabulous show Monday through Friday morning, 6 a.m. Central Time on the flagship BigsRadio.com or out on the East Coast at 7 a.m. on our Philadelphia outlet, SoulRadio51Philly.com. And don't forget, later this evening, we run back another Live from New York at 6 p.m. Central on BigsRadio.com. Followed at 9 p.m. by Bedtime Stories with Dr. Al Greer. All time Central, of course, and on our flagship, BigsRadio.com. Black Music Month time. Let's head down to the islands, where a young man born Harold George Belafonte Jr. was born many, many moons ago. Well, he was not exactly born in the islands, but his background is from that way. You know him as Harry Belafonte. He is regarded as one of the most successful Jamaican-American pop stars, and he was dubbed the King of Calypso. As you can hear in the background, this was his trademark song, the Banana Boat Song, or Day-O. That gets played throughout like ballparks all over the place. Speaking of the Calypso music, the LP Calypso was the first million-selling LP by a single artist. Imagine that. An album full of Calypso being a million seller. Hey, who wouldn't want to go to islands and music, eh? But Harry Belafonte just didn't dabble in Calypso. He also did some blues, he did some folk, he did some gospel, some show tunes, American standards. Man did the doggone thing. As a matter of fact, he is an Emmy winner, a Grammy winner, and a Tony Award winner. He's also a member of the Kennedy Center Honors, and he received the National Medal of Arts in 1994. But a man with such a platform may be expected to do some bigger things. Guess what? He did that too. He was an early supporter of the civil rights movement in the 1950s and 60s, and even a confidant of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. As a matter of fact, if you saw Harry Belafonte, you also saw Sidney Poitier. Since they had that island background, their platforms converged, and they did a lot for the civil rights movement. He's even been a UNICEF Goodwill ambassador. But it was Calypso music that brought the man to the masses. Harry Belafonte, our focus today for Black Music Month. Back to more news, views, and great music coming up It's Vince Brown in the morning. Check your watches. It is 26 before the hour.
Vince Brown in the morning.
Broadcasting from within our 6 feet social distance.
This is the Bigs Radio Network.
Vince Brown.
Overtime.
BigsRadio.com.
Vince Brown in the morning.
The community's choice.
This is the Bigs Radio Network.
$15 before the hour on Vince Brown in the morning. Get at us on the Bigs Radio line, 773-462-4447. That's 773-462-4447. Hey, just want to let you know, Bigs Radio's coming up on a year on the air. Yeah. That quick, huh? Yeah, I'm surprised myself, but hey, we've been here on the air. We've been able to reach out to literally almost all corners of the earth to bring you this absolutely wonderful music, today's R&B and of course, classic hits. And we couldn't have done it without you. So I just want to take this time to say thank you, all of you. Whether you checked in from here in the country, Canada, Finland, France, the UK, India, Nigeria, South Africa, Japan, Austria, Greece, yeah, Italy, all over. I want to thank all of you for making our first year on the air one of the most successful in the medium of internet radio. We're looking to do bigger and better things to bring this to, if we can, all corners of the globe. So continue to support us, continue to tell your friends that the Bigs Radio Network is doing big things. And we're also doing big things in the community. That's the one thing we come back to when we're doing this type of stuff. You know, we don't get to do this without the support of those that pushed us along the way. And so we want to give back to those areas that help make us great. So continue to support us. You know, if there's any community stuff that you like to see jump off in your neck of the woods and you want Bigs Radio to come out, drop us a line, bigsradio@gmail.com. That's bigsradio@gmail.com. If you got any community events that you want us to be a part of in your neck of the woods, let us know. We'll try to give it a shot and swing out there and let everybody know that you're doing good in the hood, all right? Bet. Folks, that'll take care of this hour on Vince Brown in the morning. If this is your last stop, thanks for kicking it with us. Let's do it up again tomorrow as we do our Flashback Friday segment. For those of you continuing on, make sure that you are locked, stocked, and barreled. By the way, we're up 6 a.m. Central Time, 7 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, for those of you just leaving us. Third hour coming up in a little bit. Right now, this is Vince Brown in the morning, presented by Bank of America. Make quick and easy deposits at a Bank of America ATM near you. Check your watches. 12 before the hour.
This is the Bigs Radio Network.
Vince Brown.
Overtime. BigsRadio.com. Online and on your mobile device.
Vince Brown in the morning. This is the Bigs Radio Network.
15 past the hour on Vince Brown in the morning. Get us at us on the Bigs Radio line, 773-462-4447. That's 773-462-4447. Well, here I go again talking about Black First. And I'm going to keep on jumping on it as long as they're out there to do. We head to Oakland, California, where 18-year-old Ahmed Muhammad is the first black male in the history of Oakland Tech High School to be its valedictorian. Muhammad graduates, or he's already graduated, a 4.73 GPA, and Good Morning America did a story on him, even suggesting that depending on how his few classes went, and I think they went rather well, he probably hit a 5.0. That would be perfect in Oakland Tech's system. He'll be on his way to Stanford, right down the way in Palo Alto, to further his academics. On top of the regular high school curriculum Ahmed took, he also had 13 advanced placement classes, and then even threw in some college classes at a local JUCO. Long story short, this dude was working. Now, let's throw in a few more things about this young man. Starter on the varsity basketball team and volunteering his time to tutoring, being a member of the Oakland Youth Advisory Commission, and even spearheading a nonprofit science program called Kids Cubed. And y'all want to ask, why is there so many black firsts? Do you see the black excellence that is dripping from this kid? 5.0 GPA, star on the basketball team, and still time to do community work. Well-rounded, I think, does this young man ill justice. I think he's ready. I think he definitely is ready. Now, who's going to give him that opportunity? You know, that's the next ball of wax to watch. But he's got a strong foundation, and we do wish him the very best of luck. Go on, brother. Vince Brown in the morning. We will recap our social media question of the day. Also, Vince's Vents coming up. Hold what you got. It's 18 past the hour.
Vince Brown in the morning.
Unique by nature.
This is the Bigs Radio Network.
Vince Brown.
Overtime. BigsRadio.com.
Vince Brown in the morning.
It's all about you.
This is the Bigs Radio Network.
30 past the hour on Vince Brown in the morning. Get at us on the Bigs Radio line, 773-462-4447. That's 773-462-4447. Don't forget, you can listen to this great program each and every Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. Central Time on the flagship, BigsRadio.com. And out east on our Philly affiliate, Soul Radio 51 Philly.com at 7 a.m. Don't forget, later tonight, 6 p.m., we run back another edition of Live from New York with the hip-hop ambassador Dynamax Roberts. Then at 9 p.m., Dr. Al Greer puts you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time on Bedtime Stories. Time to recap our social media question of the day. Throughout the show, we throw in a black first here and a black first there. You know, we've been talking black firsts for quite some time, but, you know, some people are like, do we really have to do that? So we brought out the question, and we bring it out again. Are you tired of black firsts, or do they give you pride? We want to hear from you. Drop in your response through our Facebook fan page, BigsRadio.com, or talk or text your response on the Bigs Radio line, 773-462-4447. That's 773-462-4447. Oh, here's something interesting in the news. The U.S. Supreme Court is inviting the White House to weigh in on a racial discrimination case at Harvard involving Asian Americans. Now this is interesting. Very interesting. A First Circuit Appeals Court panel ruled in November that Harvard did not discriminate against Asian American applicants at admissions, saying the school's use of race, which helped boost the admissions of Black and Latino students, was legal. However, some Asian American students are saying, wait a minute, I think y'all might have discriminated against us. And this case has been taken all the way up to the Supreme Court. Now, I find this very fascinating, considering there is a current wave and narrative regarding anti-American, anti-Asian American hate and the efforts to stop such. How does this case now fit into the mix? Because now you're saying that blacks and Latinos have a back door and somebody waiting at the back door, the same way Mayo Sapiens have that same back door and have so for over 400 years. I find that interesting. No decision yet on the case. We'll see what the Biden administration says about it once they're confronted with it. But I don't see any resolution to this case anytime soon. But you can understand the interesting dichotomy here of how now Asian Americans are screaming racism, the same way black folks have been screaming racism till the cows come home, even in the case of some Asian American store owners in the hood. This case is very interesting. Like I said, we'll just have to see. Vince Brown in the morning. Stay tuned. Vince's Vents coming up to end the show. Clock and Mix coming up across the top of the hour. Vince Brown in the morning with the news, views, and great music you love. Check your watches 25 before the hour.
Vince Brown in the morning.
Saluting our healthcare professionals. Thank you.
This is the Bigs Radio Network.
Vince Brown.
BigsRadio.com.
It's who we are.
Vince Brown in the morning. This is the Bigs Radio Network.
$15 before the hour on Vince Brown in the morning. Last chance to get at us on the Bigs Radio line. Talk or text 773-462-4447. That's 773-462-4447. Clock in mix coming up across the top of the hour. Running back live from New York later tonight, 6 p.m. Central, on our flagship BigsRadio.com. That's also where you can get Bedtime Stories with Dr. Al Greer later tonight, 9 p.m. Central. Vince's Vents. Y'all know how it goes. The views expressed on Vince's Vents are not necessarily those of the Bigs Radio Network, their subsidiaries, affiliates, or sponsors. We are halfway through Black Music Month, and it's kind of interesting how Black Music Month is juxtapositioned against Juneteenth. Both events are indeed significant in the black diaspora, as it were. And I think one directly affects the other. If Juneteenth, which is not when the Emancipation Proclamation was first ratified, but when it finally reached those slaves down in Galveston, Texas, when Juneteenth is in full effect, this is where the real freedom of expression started coming through in the newly freed slaves all over the country. You know, now they can work on this newfound freedom and really create what have been masterpieces over numerous decades and centuries. You know, if you've been paying attention to our Black Music Month moments, you've noticed we've hit a different corner of the musical spectrum every day. We've given you the Motown sound. We've given you the Philadelphia sound. We've given you the Memphis sound. We've even dipped outside into calypso and jazz. And there's still a few more other areas that we're going to dip into as we continue along here. But the gist of what we're doing is to let you know Black Music Month isn't just about just celebrating R&B. Oh, no. There's much more to black music and what black music has influenced than meets the eye. I haven't even gotten into country yet. Oh, wait till you get that surprise. And speaking of country, I've noticed there's starting to be a little bit more blackness in country as of late. I mean, Lil Nas X notwithstanding, but Kane Brown, I forget what the young lady that just hosted the ACM Awards is. She's doing some country now. I can't forget Cowboy Troy of the Music Mafia, the hick hop that he put into the mix. Darius Rucker, yeah, his voice is perfect for country, even though he decided to jump off into alternative initially. But yeah, he's perfect for country. You know, we influence literally every stinking musical genre there is known to man. Now, do we get our props for it? Not always. You know, folks like to put us in these little boxes like R&B and hip-hop and jazz, you know, stuff that black folk like. Well, if that's the case, then why do Male Sapiens like the blues so much? Why are little Male Sapiens always liking hip-hop so much? That isn't by accident, folks. Black Music Month was created for a reason. Shouts out to Jimmy Carter on that way back in the day for recognizing that too. You know, there's a reason Black Music Month is here. That's to celebrate all of that. And we can continue celebrating all of that for as long as artists have the ability and, more importantly, the freedom to create as they please. What you have to understand is that when you are an original, when you are a blueprint of what this music means to folk, no matter if it's in the United States, in the African motherland, no matter where you are, if you understand the fact that literally everything you hear has been influenced by black folk in one way or another, then a lot of this nonsense in the industry is going to cease. Now, Distribution-wise, that's a different story. You know, we got a long ways to go before you can crack that nut. But thankfully, the internet is such that it levels out the playing field. But you got to have the knowledge to be able to get yourself into the business side of show business. I mean, show is everything. You meet stars here, there, and everywhere. But what it all comes down to, and has always been since the beginning of time, it's about that money. How can you turn your artistry into the bottom line? I tell you, if you listen to the Biggs Radio Network, and especially my girl Dinah Biggs on Monday night, you'll get all that good information. I guarantee. That'll do it for this edition of Vince Brown in the Morning. If you're continuing on with us, the Clock In Mix is coming up next. For the rest of you, let's do it up again tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. on the East Coast. The executive producer of Vince Brown in the Morning is Alvin Washington. Executive producer for the Biggs Radio Network, the lovely and talented Dinah Lynn Biggs. Executive producer in our Philadelphia division is Bill Hendricks. Till next time, whatever you do it, make sure you do it good, increase the peace, and no matter wherever am I, you know it's always Southside Shy. Program note, we got a special guest for our Black Music Month moment coming up tomorrow. I'll let you know on the show tomorrow morning, right before we get there. So, just keep listening to Vince Brown in the Morning. I'll catch you later. All right?
This is the Biggs Radio Network.